Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. Life is about choices. Relationships are about balance. And for too long, society has whispered to women, put others first, but today we flip that script. Because when a woman forgets her own worth, the foundation of her relationships, her life starts to crack. Let's talk about self-worth. If you don't know your value, you leave it to someone else to decide. And trust me, that's a dangerous gamble. Prioritizing yourself is not selfish, it's necessary. A woman who loves herself first shows others how to love her. Remember this, you teach people how to treat you by the way you treat yourself. Now, let's talk balance. A healthy relationship isn't about losing yourself in another person. It's about sharing your life while staying true to who you are. Imagine a scale. When one side constantly carries the weight, it breaks. And when you break, the relationship breaks. Prioritizing yourself keeps that scale balanced. It allows love to flow in both directions. But here's the truth, a lot of people don't want to admit burnout is real. When you keep giving, keep sacrificing, keep putting yourself last, you drain your energy, your soul. And when you're running on empty, what can you give to anyone else? Nothing. That's why self-care isn't a luxury, it's survival. Think about the example you set. If you have children, if you have friends who look up to you, they're watching. What do you want them to see? A woman who sacrifices herself to please others, or a woman who stands tall, loves herself fiercely, and shows the world her strength? Prioritizing yourself inspires others to do the same. Finally, let's talk about empowerment. A woman who puts herself first is unstoppable. She's not dependent on her partner for happiness, she creates her own joy. She doesn't wait for validation, she knows her worth. And here's the beauty of it, when you are strong, when you are whole, you elevate every relationship you touch. So ladies, hear me loud and clear. Prioritizing yourself doesn't mean loving others less. It means loving yourself enough to show up as your best self in every relationship. It's not about selfishness, it's about strength. In the words of the great Maya Angelou, I can be changed by what happens to me, but I refuse to be reduced by it. Now I want to talk about this in detail. Self-worth is the foundation upon which everything else is built. It is the core belief you hold about your value as a person. It is the understanding that you matter, that your presence and your contributions are significant, and that your needs, desires, and well-being are just as important as anyone else's. And yet too many women, especially in relationships, sacrifice this self-worth. They downplay their importance, belittle their needs, or surrender their desires to make others feel comfortable or happy. But here's the reality, self-worth is non-negotiable. It's not something you can trade or put on hold when it's inconvenient for someone else. You cannot give it away, and you should never allow anyone to take it from you. To understand the significance of self-worth in relationships, let's first acknowledge the external pressures that many women face. From a young age, girls are often socialized to be caregivers, nurturers, and people pleasers. Society tells women that their value is tied to how well they serve and care for others, whether it's in a family, a romantic relationship, or in their professional lives. This idea of self-sacrifice can easily lead women to neglect their own needs and desires in favor of meeting the demands of others. Over time, these unspoken societal expectations become internalized, and many women begin to measure their worth based on how much they can give or how little they can ask for in return. But let me be clear, self-worth is not determined by how much you give or how much you sacrifice. You are valuable simply because you exist. Your worth isn't contingent on what you do for others or how well you meet others' needs. It is inherent, constant, and absolute. When you truly recognize your self-worth, you set the tone for how you allow others to treat you. If you don't believe that you are valuable, others won't either. If you don't respect yourself enough to set boundaries, others will overstep them. If you constantly prioritize others over yourself, you may inadvertently encourage them to do the same. Self-worth is the anchor that keeps you grounded, and without it, you risk drifting into unhealthy patterns that diminish your confidence, happiness, and personal fulfillment. A woman who knows her worth carries herself differently. She doesn't apologize for her needs or desires. She doesn't shrink to make others feel more comfortable. She doesn't settle for relationships that diminish her light. Instead, she surrounds herself with people who lift her up, respect her, and recognize her value. And in return, she brings her best self to the table because she is whole, confident, and unapologetically herself. But how do you cultivate this sense of self-worth? It starts with changing your inner dialogue. Stop listening to the negative voices that tell you you're not enough, that you have to prove yourself to be worthy of love, respect, and success. Those voices are often shaped by societal conditioning, past experiences, or the opinions of others. Instead, start affirming your worth every single day. Remind yourself that you are deserving of the same love, kindness, and respect that you so freely give to others. Next, practice setting boundaries. Boundaries are not walls, they are the protective measures you put in place to preserve your energy, mental health, and emotional well-being. When you learn to say no, when you ask for what you need, when you don't apologize for prioritizing yourself, you begin to reinforce your own worth. Boundaries are a sign of self-respect. They communicate to the world that you will not tolerate being undervalued or mistreated. Lastly, remember that your self-worth is not tied to the validation of others. It is not something you have to earn or prove. It is already within you. By recognizing and honoring your own worth, you will naturally attract relationships and experiences that honor you in return. Women must internalize the truth that self-worth is non-negotiable. It's the most powerful tool you have in ensuring that you enter into and maintain healthy, fulfilling relationships. When you know your value, you don't settle for less. You make decisions that align with your highest good, and you refuse to tolerate anything that threatens your peace, joy, or sense of self. So stand firm in your worth because you are worthy of everything that is good, right, and fulfilling in this life. Balance is not just a buzzword, it's the cornerstone of healthy relationships and personal well-being. In the context of relationships, balance means that both partners maintain their individuality while also nurturing their connection with one another. This delicate equilibrium between self-identity and togetherness is essential for fostering mutual respect, understanding, and growth. Unfortunately, many women, especially in romantic relationships, have been conditioned to believe that in order to be good partners, they must prioritize the relationship above all else, sometimes at the expense of themselves. This kind of mindset can be detrimental to both their personal development and the health of the relationship. First and foremost, let's acknowledge the truth that you are an individual before you are anyone's partner. Your interests, passions, values, and goals matter. You are not defined solely by your role in the relationship, whether that's as a wife, mother, girlfriend, or friend. When women lose sight of their own identity and immerse themselves entirely in the needs of their partner or family, they risk losing themselves in the process. The result is a woman who feels unfulfilled, disconnected, and often resentful because in trying to meet everyone else's needs, she has neglected her own. This is where the idea of balance comes into play. Healthy relationships require both partners to be whole individuals who contribute to the union without losing their sense of self. Think of it as a two-way street. Each partner is responsible for their own emotional, mental, and physical well-being, and together they form a partnership based on respect and collaboration. When each person brings their authentic self into the relationship, it fosters a dynamic that allows both partners to thrive. However, balance doesn't just apply to individual identity, it also encompasses emotional support, communication, and decision-making. In a relationship, both partners should feel heard, valued, and supported. But if one person consistently gives more than they receive, the balance shifts. The relationship becomes one-sided, with one partner carrying the emotional weight while the other enjoys the support without offering much in return. This imbalance leads to feelings of frustration, exhaustion, and even resentment. For women, the tendency to prioritize others often stems from a desire to please or avoid conflict. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that a relationship will thrive if you constantly put the other person first. But that mindset is flawed. True partnership isn't about one person giving more than the other, it's about both people giving what they can in a way that maintains the relationship's harmony and integrity. Both partners should actively contribute to the emotional labor of the relationship, and neither should feel as though they're sacrificing their own happiness for the sake of the other. Achieving balance also means setting boundaries. Boundaries are the invisible lines that protect your time, energy, and emotional health. They prevent you from becoming overwhelmed or taken for granted. In a balanced relationship, both partners respect each other's boundaries and work together to create an environment where both individuals can flourish. Boundaries aren't selfish, they're an essential tool for maintaining a healthy, functioning relationship. The importance of self-care cannot be overstated when discussing balance. It's easy for women to feel guilty about taking time for themselves, especially when they're surrounded by demands from partners, children, work, or other responsibilities. But self-care is not a luxury, it is a necessity. You cannot pour from an empty cup. When you take time to nurture yourself, whether it's through relaxation, pursuing hobbies, or simply taking a break, you are ensuring that you are in the best position to give to others. When you prioritize your well-being, you increase your ability to be present, supportive, and emotionally available in your relationships. In practical terms, achieving balance means learning to say no when necessary, asking for help when you need it, and making time for activities that nourish your body, mind, and spirit. It also means being willing to have open, honest conversations with your partner about needs, expectations, and desires. Healthy relationships thrive on mutual understanding, and balance is at the heart of that. Balance is essential because it ensures that you do not lose yourself in a relationship while still giving love, care, and support to your partner. A balanced relationship fosters growth, respect, and mutual fulfillment, creating a strong foundation where both partners can thrive as individuals while also growing together. Women, remember this: you are not meant to be the sacrificial figure who gives everything and asks for nothing in return. You are worthy of love, respect, and care, and the most fulfilling relationships are those in which both partners prioritize their individuality while nurturing their connection with each other. Balance isn't just the key to a successful relationship, it's the key to a fulfilling life. Burnout is a pervasive issue that affects millions of women, particularly those who are constantly giving to others without taking the time to care for themselves. Whether it's balancing work, family life, friendships, or romantic relationships, many women feel a pressure to constantly show up for others, often at the expense of their own well-being. This leads to emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion that not only drains their energy but also affects their ability to function effectively in their relationships and other areas of life. Avoiding burnout is crucial not only for your health but for the longevity of your relationships. At its core, burnout happens when you are giving more than you are receiving, leaving you emotionally and physically depleted. Women, in particular, tend to take on multiple roles in their personal and professional lives: caregiver, partner, employee, friend, and sometimes even the emotional caretaker for others. This sense of duty can become overwhelming, especially when there is little time left for self-care. When your emotional and physical needs are ignored, your body and mind will eventually force you to slow down. And this is when burnout strikes. One of the main reasons burnout is so common among women is the societal expectation that they must be the ones to hold it all together. There's this notion that a woman's worth is tied to her ability to manage everything, solve everyone's problems, and be the unwavering support for those around her. While this can be empowering for a while, the truth is that no one can keep giving without replenishing their own energy. Eventually, that well runs dry. But here's the problem: when women ignore their own needs and continue to put others first, they risk their own health and happiness. The emotional weight of constantly being there for others without taking time to nurture themselves can lead to irritability, exhaustion, anxiety, and even depression. The energy you once had to invest in your relationship starts to dwindle, and eventually you are unable to give your best to anyone, including yourself. This is why prioritizing self-care is crucial in preventing burnout. It's not a luxury or an indulgence, it's a necessity. Self-care is about taking time to recharge, to nurture your mind, body, and soul, and to acknowledge that your well-being is just as important as the well-being of those around you. When you take the time to care for yourself, whether through physical exercise, mental relaxation, spending time with friends, or simply engaging in activities that bring you joy, you are investing in your own health, which will ultimately benefit your relationships as well. Recognizing the early signs of burnout is essential in preventing it from escalating. Symptoms may include constant fatigue, feeling overwhelmed by even small tasks, irritability, anxiety, and a lack of motivation. When you start to feel like you're running on empty, it's important to step back and assess what is draining your energy. Are you overcommitting to obligations? Are you neglecting your own needs to fulfill the needs of others? Once you identify the areas that are contributing to your stress and exhaustion, you can take steps to address them. This might mean learning how to set boundaries. Boundaries are essential in maintaining your mental and emotional health. It's okay to say no. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to take a break. Setting clear limits on what you are willing to do and what you're not can help prevent burnout from taking hold. You don't have to do everything, and you certainly don't have to do it all alone. Another important strategy is delegating tasks. Many women take on more than they need to because they believe it's easier to do it themselves, but that's a recipe for exhaustion. Ask for help from your partner, family members, or even friends. In relationships, both partners should share the load. This might mean asking your partner to take on more household responsibilities, or even just sharing in the emotional labor of decision-making. You don't have to carry the weight of everything alone. Also, it's crucial to give yourself permission to rest. Rest isn't a sign of weakness, it's an essential component of maintaining your overall health. Sleep, relaxation, and time off are crucial to keeping your energy levels up. In fact, being well rested makes you more productive, more focused, and more present in your relationships. Finally, remember that you don't have to be everything to everyone. Burnout occurs when we set unrealistic expectations for ourselves. It's okay to have limitations, and it's okay to take a step back when you feel like you're getting close to the edge. Your worth is not defined by your ability to meet everyone else's needs. Your worth is defined by your humanity, by your ability to love and care for yourself, and by your willingness to take care of your own needs first. Avoiding burnout is about self-preservation. It's about recognizing when you're stretched too thin and taking the necessary steps to restore balance. Prioritizing your health and well-being allows you to be the best version of yourself in every area of your life. The more you take care of yourself, the more you'll have to give to those around you, and the longer you'll be able to sustain those relationships in a healthy, fulfilling way. So remember, you cannot pour from an empty cup. Fill yourself up first, and everything else will follow. Women have a powerful role in shaping the dynamics of the relationships they are in, whether with partners, family, friends, or children. Often, the way a woman conducts herself within these relationships through her actions, her boundaries, and her treatment of herself sets a profound example for others to follow. This is why modeling healthy behaviors is essential, not only for your own well-being, but for the well-being of those around you. When you prioritize your needs, maintain your self-worth, and practice self-care, you are showing others how to value and respect themselves and their relationships in return. Let's begin by acknowledging that children, in particular, are keen observers. They are constantly watching the way you behave, especially in relation to how you treat yourself and others. As a mother, a daughter, or a mentor, you are shaping the future by modeling healthy behaviors. If children see a woman who consistently sacrifices her own happiness, ignores her boundaries, or places the needs of others above her own, they may internalize the belief that this is the way relationships should function. They may come to believe that in order to be loved or valued, they must always put others first, or that their own needs and emotions don't matter as much as someone else's. On the other hand, when a woman prioritizes her own health, sets boundaries, speaks up for herself, and takes time to care for her well-being, she is teaching the next generation that it is okay to value yourself, to have needs, and to ask for what you want. This is especially important in relationships as it sets the standard for healthy dynamics. Healthy behaviors create an environment in which love, respect, and mutual understanding can thrive. By modeling these behaviors, you empower those around you to adopt them as well. Furthermore, healthy behavior modeling isn't limited to just how you treat yourself. It extends to how you treat your partner, your friends, and even acquaintances. When you communicate openly and honestly with your partner, when you resolve conflicts in a respectful manner, when you encourage healthy emotional exchanges rather than suppressing them, you are showing what it means to engage in a respectful, balanced, and nurturing relationship. This teaches your partner and those around you that mutual respect, clear communication, and emotional honesty are the foundation of any strong relationship. Consider the impact this modeling can have on romantic relationships. If you consistently honor your own needs, ask for what you need, and ensure that your emotional well-being is not ignored, your partner learns the value of doing the same. It also teaches them that a relationship thrives when both individuals contribute to the emotional labor, share in decision-making, and support each other's growth. In a partnership, equality and balance are key, and by demonstrating these qualities, you set a powerful precedent for how the relationship should function. It's also important to recognize that modeling healthy behaviors isn't always easy. It takes self-awareness, strength, and courage to stand firm in your boundaries, to ask for what you need, and to refuse to settle for relationships that do not align with your values. But when you do this, you create a ripple effect. Your healthy choices encourage others to reflect on their own behavior and make positive changes in their own lives. Your actions give permission to others to prioritize their own needs and set boundaries without guilt. Moreover, modeling healthy behaviors is critical in the professional world as well. Whether you're managing a team or working closely with colleagues, the way you conduct yourself can inspire others to do the same. By practicing self-respect, advocating for your needs, and maintaining a healthy work-life balance, you show your colleagues and peers the importance of setting boundaries, managing stress, and maintaining a sense of individuality, even in a collaborative environment. This creates a more positive, respectful, and productive workspace. In relationships with friends and extended family, modeling healthy behaviors means showing others how to maintain their sense of self even in close connections. You teach them the value of mutual respect, of being a good listener, and of offering support without overextending yourself. You show that you can have deep, meaningful connections without losing who you are in the process. Ultimately, modeling healthy behaviors is about leading by example. It's about showing those around you, whether it's your partner, your children, or your friends, that it is okay to take care of yourself, to assert your needs, and to nurture both yourself and your relationships. Healthy behavior isn't about perfection, it's about balance, respect, and growth. It's about setting an example of what it means to live authentically, to prioritize your well-being, and to engage in relationships that are mutually fulfilling. The act of modeling healthy behaviors is one of the most powerful tools you have in shaping your relationships and impacting the lives of others. By making conscious choices to value yourself, set boundaries, and communicate with respect, you set the standard for how relationships should be conducted, creating a lasting impact on the people around you and, most importantly, on yourself. One of the most powerful tools any woman has in a relationship, whether romantic, familial, or professional, is her voice. Empowering your voice means having the confidence and clarity to speak your truth, express your feelings, and advocate for your needs. It's about embracing the power of your words, using them to assert your boundaries, and standing firm in your beliefs, even when it may feel uncomfortable or challenging. In relationships, this empowerment is essential not only for your own well-being, but also for creating the kind of dynamic that is healthy, respectful, and mutually fulfilling. Unfortunately, many women are taught to be quiet, to be accommodating, or to suppress their feelings to maintain peace and avoid conflict. They are often conditioned to think that their opinions, desires, and needs are secondary to those of others. This is especially true in romantic relationships, where societal norms sometimes pressure women to be passive, selfless, or nurturing at the expense of their own voices. As a result, women may begin to doubt the validity of their own emotions, suppress their true feelings, or simply go along with what others want in order to keep the peace. But empowering your voice is not about being loud or confrontational. It's about being confident, assertive, and unapologetic in expressing yourself. It's about knowing that your thoughts and feelings matter, and that you deserve to be heard with the same respect that you extend to others. When you empower your voice, you take control of your narrative. You define your boundaries, assert your needs, and refuse to tolerate anything that does not align with your values. One of the first steps to empowering your voice is recognizing your worth. When you understand that your opinions, desires, and needs are just as important as anyone else's, you begin to speak up without fear of judgment or rejection. You no longer feel the need to hide your thoughts to make others feel more comfortable. Instead, you recognize that expressing yourself authentically is an act of self-respect and self-love. This shift in mindset requires courage. Speaking up, especially in relationships where you might have previously been passive or accommodating, can feel intimidating. It requires vulnerability to admit your needs, share your concerns, or voice your desires. However, being vulnerable in this way is an act of strength. It shows that you are willing to stand up for what matters to you, and it opens the door for deeper communication and understanding in the relationship. Empowering your voice also means setting boundaries and advocating for yourself. Boundaries are not just physical, they are emotional, mental, and psychological as well. They protect your time, energy, and emotional health. When you have the courage to set boundaries, you send a clear message that you respect yourself and you expect others to do the same. Whether it's saying no when you're overwhelmed, asking for time to recharge, or refusing to tolerate disrespect, speaking your truth allows you to create space for your well-being. In romantic relationships, empowering your voice is essential for maintaining equality. If you feel that your needs or feelings are being overlooked, it's important to speak up. Relationships should be a partnership where both individuals feel heard and supported. When one partner consistently remains silent or suppresses their feelings, it creates an imbalance that can lead to frustration, resentment, and emotional disconnection. By speaking up and sharing your thoughts, you invite open, honest communication, which is the foundation of a strong, healthy relationship. It's also important to note that empowering your voice isn't just about the words you speak, it's also about the way you listen. Effective communication is a two-way street. Empowering your voice means being present and listening to the voices of others as well. It's about creating a dialogue where both partners feel safe to express their emotions and needs. Active listening, empathy, and understanding foster mutual respect and connection, and they create an environment where both individuals feel valued. Another key aspect of empowering your voice is embracing conflict as an opportunity for growth. Conflict doesn't have to be destructive, it can be constructive when handled with respect and a willingness to listen. When you empower your voice, you are better equipped to navigate difficult conversations with your partner, friends, or family. You're able to express your feelings clearly without resorting to passive-aggressive behavior or silent resentment. This open communication allows for resolution, healing, and deeper emotional connection. Finally, empowering your voice means speaking up for yourself and others. In relationships, this might involve advocating for equality, standing up against mistreatment, or challenging the status quo. By using your voice to address issues that matter to you, you create a space for justice and respect to flourish, not just for yourself, but for those around you as well. Empowering your voice is one of the most transformative actions a woman can take in her relationships. It means embracing your worth, speaking up for your needs, setting boundaries, and engaging in open, honest communication. When you empower your voice, you create relationships where respect, mutual understanding, and personal growth thrive. Your voice is your power, and by using it with confidence, you set the tone for the kind of relationships that are fulfilling, balanced, and authentic. The journey of prioritizing oneself in relationships is not about selfishness or neglecting others. It is about recognizing the profound importance of your own well-being, growth, and voice within the partnership. The 5 keynotes: understanding your worth, finding balance, avoiding burnout, modeling healthy behaviors, and empowering your voice serve as foundational principles for cultivating not only healthy relationships, but also a healthy relationship with yourself. By prioritizing your needs, setting boundaries, nurturing your individuality, and speaking your truth, you create an environment where love, respect, and mutual growth can flourish. When women take the necessary steps to put themselves first, they are better equipped to show up for their partners, children, friends, and colleagues in a meaningful way. It's about leading with strength, vulnerability, and authenticity, empowering those around you to do the same. By modeling these behaviors, you not only create stronger relationships, but also contribute to a larger cultural shift where women are empowered to thrive, not just survive within their relationships. Remember, your well-being is the cornerstone of your happiness and the foundation upon which every relationship rests. Prioritize yourself, respect your boundaries, and advocate for your needs. You are deserving of love, respect, and care not only from others, but from yourself. When you lead with self-love, you set the stage for the most fulfilling, balanced, and empowering relationships imaginable.